जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी. एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी. माथे पर तिलक शोभि मूष की सवारी. पान चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा. नरवर को भोग लागे संत करे सेवा. नरवर को भोग लागे संत करे सेवा. जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. अंधे को आँख दे तो कोढ़िन को काया. भांजन को पुत्र दे तो निर्धन को माया. भांजन को पुत्र दे तो निर्धन को माया. शूल श्याम शरण आए सफल कीज सेवा. शूल श्याम शरण आए सफल कीज सेवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. माता जागी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Sanjana, for the divine melody. So, without further ado, I would like to call our respected principal ma'am to welcome at the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, all the delegates, research scholars, and our dear students. Today, we have assembled here once again for the quality enhancement, quality sustenance. The triad of KLHSK Arts and HSK Science Institute, Hubli, which was established in 1952, the part of the KLE Society, established in 1960. Over the 100 years, KLE Society is serving for its educational, medical, and social service. Our institute has completed more than 70 years. We have completed the 4th cycle of accreditation. In first consecutive 3 cycles of accreditation, we got the A grade from the NAAC. Recently, we have completed the 4th cycle, and once again, we are in A+ with the CGPA 3.28. With the strong support of the management, our respected chairman, Dr. Prabhakar Kore, whose 75th birthday we are celebrating as Amrut Mahotsava throughout the KLE. The KLE has more than 292 institutions. More than 140,000 students are studying from kindergarten to the medical and professional engineering colleges. More than 19,000 staff is working in a prestigious KLE society. We belongs to the KLE society. The SK Arts and HSK Science Institute has 2 faculties, Arts and Science, established in 52 and 67. Since from its inception, we are striving for the quality enhancement, quality sustenance. This is today's program is one in that direction. The National Assessment and Accreditation Council conducts the assessment and accreditation of higher educational institutions such as colleges, universities, other recognized institutions to derive an understanding of the quality status of the institution. NAAC evaluates the institution for its conformance, the standards of quality in terms of its performance related to the educational processes and outcomes, curriculum coverage, teaching learning process, faculty research, infrastructure, learning resources, organization, governance, financial well-being, and of course, the students' services. In that direction, NEP 2020 rolled out successfully in India, and NAAC is striving hard to ensure the success of NEP through various strategies. The vision of NEP 2020 is rooted in the Indian ethos that contributes to the transformation of Indian sustainability into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. Both NAAC and NEP are thriving for excellence through quality mandate and sustenance. Hence, it's a time to shift from normal education to skill-oriented education with the innovative methods of teaching and learning. In this context, the functional IPSC has been continuously initiating various programs to enhance and sustain the quality of the institutes. The present national seminar focuses on quality mandate, which is invariably a challenge for all the educational institutions. Let us utilize this platform to discuss, share, help each other to tackle the problem, which is the dire need of the hour. Today, with us, our chief guest, Dr. N. Panchanatham, the former Vice Chancellor, Tamil Nadu, Teacher Education University, former Registrar, Annamalai University, former Head, Business School, Annamalai University, is with us to grace this function and to inaugurate this function. I wholeheartedly welcome from the KLE's management, all the teaching staff and all the students. One other strong resource person, Dr. M.S. Chaitra, is with us from Bangalore, Chanakya University. Once again, I take this opportunity to welcome sir. Today's wait.
You want to give me?
Yes.
You can continue. Yeah. See that?
I will not take a time too much, but it's our protocol. Dr. Panchanatham sir has completed its MBA PhD HRM Organization Behavior. He has completed the LEAP program in IIT KHP and Cambridge UK, MICA in USA, SME R&D Israel, LMI in Hungary, MAFS Netherlands, MCOM, MSc Zoology and MEd, and MA Psychology and MSc Yoga. His administrative experience is more than 20 years and teaching experience is 33 years. He has awarded with more than 47 national and international awards. He is a visiting professor for GSE USA, University of Cyprus, Cambodia, Vilnius University, Lithuania, Mindanao State University, Philippines, Southern Federal University, Russia, University of Brajagia, Indonesia, Eastern University, Sri Lanka, Bogor Agriculture University, Indonesia, visiting faculty training, NLC India Limited. His research contributions state that he has publication more than 453, proceedings 140, and book published 75. He is auditor for more than 20 journals, and he adjudicated more than 250 doctoral theses. His academic administrative body in NAAC peer team visit more than 70 institutions. That is a great, this one. AICT and NBA visits more than 150 institutions. He is a member secretary of syndicate and AU for 22 months, chairman syndicate, and other membership of more than 20 memberships he is having. And the distinctiveness is he earned NAAC A grade in first cycle when he was vice chancellor in a teamwork. So many work he has done. After that, we will display also. So such a big biodata is with us. I present before you a multifaceted, knowledgeful resource person and chief guest to inaugurate our national seminar organized by IQAC, a participatory process in NAAC A binary accreditation system as per new education policy. Welcome, sir. Thank you. Thank you. With this, I present a very multifaceted resource person in front of all of you. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Principal Ma'am, for your heartily welcome. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Without the beginning, there is nothing. Yeah, it's time for inauguration, and I request the honorable dignitaries on the stage to inaugurate the function by lighting the lamp. Thank you, dignitaries. Now I humbly request Dr. N. Panchanathanam Sir, former Vice Chancellor, Tamil Nadu, Teachers Foundation University, Tamil Nadu, to address the keynote.
Good morning. Good students, madam. Very good. So most respected dignitaries present on the stage, Professor Uma Devi madam, principal of the college, Professor Chaitra ji from Chanakya University and a well experienced person, Professor Gauri Shah, who is on his way, he will be joining us, he is staying with us, we are all together. Then most respected Shankarana ji, then the dynamic IQAC coordinator Dr. Siddesh, and personally taking care of us, not only Dr. Siddesh but also Dr. Dev Datta, other respected professors, teachers, scholars, students, invitees, participants. Very good morning to one and of you, not one and all. Excellent photographer. He was student. It's a very, very important thing. 1 minute. Like very, very important. Because my wife says that you have gone to Hubli to see important tourist places. She thinks only this photo will be the proof. So special address to her. Student is doing this job. It's a very good skill. And at the outset, I tell you the truth. When she was talking about me, visited 56 international countries, visiting process, everything. Matter is true, but it was given to her by me only. I only requested her to read all those things. So I thought that she will do 1 or 2 lines, she will stop. But she's a good principal. As much as possible, she was able to read. In some places, I used to give 5 pages, then 3 pages. Then, because whatever we give, ultimately they say, Professor Panjaranam, Vice Chancellor, or former Vice Chancellor is over. So they don't say more, but she's a very good principal and spoke more about me. And also, I requested her, I should not speak more. Only allotted time I should speak. More than that, you should have control, madam. Because sometimes it is my Tamil Nadu means I will bring my person. I will inform him. If I speak too much, you do like this. I will ask him to sit in the first row, like this. Then I will stop. But what happened? That fellow, his name is Swaminathan. Whenever I go and say, ladies and gentlemen, immediately he does like this. What is this? No, sir, this is itching. I will do it. So that I stop now, handed over to the respected principal. So once again, I congratulate not only organizing team, but also KLE Society. I came to 294 institutions. Hundreds and thousands of teachers and non-teaching friends. Lakhs of students. In Tamil, in every language you have this word. ஆயிரம் அன்ன சத்திரம் கட்டுவதை காட்டிலும் கல்வி கொடுப்பது சாலச் சிறந்தது. Instead of giving food to thousands and thousands of people, giving education is a great thing. This KLE society, we all congratulate them. We all appreciate them. We all pray with God to bless them, to increase this number of institutions, to increase more number of students, because more than 80% of education in this country is given by private institutions. Because I was the vice chancellor of an university, 642 colleges are affiliated. 642 teachers education university. Out of 642, 7 colleges are government college. 14 more government aided colleges. All 99% balance private institutions. So they provide education with your support. They may have money, they may have building, they may have trust, they may have donation. Unless you teachers and non-teaching staff come forward to join them, they do something to the society. I too will do something to the society. If you don't have that attitude, what is the use of it? What is the use of it? A teacher is not coming in one Tamil Nadu, one college, madam. The principal was giving more number of hours workload to one teacher. That teacher took a decision. Thursday, it was Thursday. He decided every Thursday, Mauna Viradam. What is that in English? English, what is that for? Not talking. What is that Viradam? Tamil Mauna Viradam. Should not, all day should not talk. Maunam. You understand? You got the point to leave it. The language is not the matter. Matter is important. Eh? So the whole day, you see, the whole day IAS officer need not talk. The whole day, how a teaching job is talking job. And then principal and the compromise, then workload was reduced. Because principal also, principal, she's a very good principal. I told her in the morning one story, after that she has become cool. Earlier she was tense. Morning I told a child, mother is waking up a child, go to college, go to college. The child says two reasons, I don't want to go to college. One reason, no teacher likes me. Second reason, no student likes me, I don't want to go. Child says, mother says, I tell you two reasons you should go. One is, your age is 50. You are the principal of the college. You see, she may be a principal or vice chancellor, but mother and daughter, mother and son say no. We should not be childish, but we can be childlike. We can be childlike. So that's what I told. The principal, vice chancellor, generally nobody will like it. But you should accept the truth and do the job. Then she became a very particular question. She is told that, sir, only principal is not like it, sir. No. Registrar, vice chancellor also not like it. Then she is very happy. Then she says, company is also very happy. So that way, anybody comes to the job, it is there naturally. So once again, this society, we all congratulate. On behalf of all of you, I congratulate her leadership, IQAC persons, those who are working for this, including from giving tiffin onwards, coffee onwards, those who are organizing. It's a very difficult task organizing this program. So we all congratulate your team. On behalf of you, we congratulate all participants for investing your time for two reasons. One, you get new insights. From yesterday night, I have been talking to Professor Chaitra ji. I got a lot of insights. What is the liberal? He comes from liberal schools. How tradition, liberal, mixed, not deviating a point, boundary, providing education in Chanakya University. I learned a lot of things. From him. So such great people have come. So you are getting new insights. Or sometimes what we were speaking, you know already. But still, we need a reinforcement. Is there any house, any student whose parents never asked you to study? Day one, you go to Mata, Pita, Guru, God, go to temple, Mata blesses you, you study well, at least you will get a good husband, study well. Then father says, study well, at least you will get a good wife, study well. Then together they go to Guru. Guru says, in my village and all, Guru says, study well, not like your parents. Because they also studied in the same school only. At least you study well. Guru blesses. Then they go to church, mosque or temple. Mata, Pita, Guru, God. God also blesses. So great people are blessed. If reinforcement is not required, in no house, after that parents should ask the children to study. Is there any house? Sorry, in my house, never my parents asked me to go study well. Take book, study, sit here. Is there any house? Particularly when you come to 12th standard, 10th standard and 12th standard, many parents become. My son completed 12th, you can see me. He went to IIT, now he is doing doctorate in Singapore, got appointment on 2nd February in Hong Kong. So I was sharing happily here. So parents become like this because study, study, study. He is sleeping there or playing somewhere. But we say study, study, study. So reinforcement. So this conference either will give you new insights or reinforcement. You know something, but we need reinforcement. Even in the onward traffic, I'm a professor. I'm seeing here the policeman is taking tea. Shying, I'm going. One day, not supposed to go, but reinforcement. Stop. I'm worried, so I don't go. So reinforcement is very much required. That too on this participatory process of NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, as she rightly introduced, more than 70 institutions. Last week I came to Belgavi as the chairperson of a team. Institutions, every institution we visit, we learn many things. From morning I've been telling 100 times the institution is very clean, neat. Because in many places to see the place like this clean and neat is a problem. When you experience that, only then you will realize it. Only then you will realize it. So that too, A plus institution, teamwork, hard work, together. In Tamil, we have a proverb. All together pull the car, the car, God is sitting there. So one principal, one teacher, one IQAC director, nothing can be done. They may take some leadership, they may request. All of us should work together. So congratulations to all of you for earning A plus grade with a 3.28. It's very good. One side, we are a little jealous because in my university, I did not get. Only I got A grade in the first cycle, 3.17. That's 5.5 years old university. But you got 3.28. I looked at them with a bad face because I did not get. Then she asked, our institution is 75 years old. Okay, madam, I'm done working. Next cycle, we also will get A plus. So, this is the madam's age is 75. Some people are happy. I am telling institution, but if people are looking at her as if 75, she is unable to walk and all. But my age is 5.5. I was vice chancellor of the university, only 5.5 years old university. So why I'm telling it's a great achievement. Again, congratulations to you. But you continue to talk about the NAAC. That to this, the binary accreditation system. You can see here, binary accreditation system. Many people go to temple and pray, binary should not come. Some people in my place, they do archana. On whose name you are doing, wife or husband? No, not. Why? Binary should not come. And those who are doing that, those who are getting like this A plus plus. And B, just B grade institutions, there's same temple, same God. They do archana, binary should come. Because accredited, not accredited. Binary means your institution is accredited, not accredited. Yes or no? This B plus are jealous of these people. A plus. The examination you can see student psychology. A good student after a result is declared, you see the good student will go to good student. Student like Panjanadam, I know some people. How many papers you cleared? Oh, only 4 papers I cleared. Oh, I cleared 5 papers. So you failed in 3, I failed in 2, friends. So something like that, accreditation binary. Yes or no? The institution is accredited, yes, or not accredited. Recently they want to say is yet to accredited. Yet to accredited or not accredited. This system has not completely come. So much we cannot speak. But the matter is going to be same, but more of qualitative. Binary system is going to be more of qualitative. The outcome. When police officer says in TV, he says, sir, he is meeting teachers and says, sir, 25 years ago when I joined as a young teacher, we talk about quality. He talks about quality. Young police officer, I joined. I used to catch 10 criminals every day, minimum. 10 criminals. Snatching this, doing this. Out of 10, even no one will be even 10th standard qualified. They are all school dropout, illiterate. But today I am catching 10 people snatching this, doing this, all those things. All are graduates. BA, BSc, BEd, BCom, MBA. Then he is asking teachers, you produced this honest police officer. You produced this nine chain snatching fellow also. But our teacher says, sir, no, sir, we did not do. In the unit, it is not there. Third unit, fourth unit, fifth unit, syllabus, practical, how to snatch a chain. We have never taught, sir. To be frank with you, my students snatched my own chain, sir. But the world does not accept. The world, the world does not accept. You cannot say that the teacher is not responsible. It is not in the curriculum. That's the reason from morning you will enjoy this session. Very technical person. I'm a storytelling person. By mistake, she called me. She is responsible. Professor Chaitra ji, what is the difference between curriculum and syllabus? He asked him to speak at least 5 minutes. So we think it is not there in the syllabus, first unit, second unit, not like that. Ultimately, there. I remember one of my teachers used to tell, hey, you came to, I was born in Kumbakonam. You came to Kumbakonam. I told all my people, he was my teacher, retired now, very aged. My student has become vice chancellor. My student has become vice chancellor. You told you became vice chancellor 1,000 people, but I told my student became vice chancellor 10,000 students. Is very happy. But you will not clap. You will withdraw now. But within 1 hour, he went to Kumbakonam bus stand. He could see a boy, man. He somehow, due to some reason, mentally retarded, all torn out. He is standing there, and he could see this teacher. Sir, whole society is seeing in bus stand, thousands of people. He says, sir, I am your student. Sir, I am your student. Mentally, just now, 1 hour ago, he enjoyed my student is a vice chancellor. My student is an IAS officer. My student is an entrepreneur. Within 1 hour, mad person says in the bus stand, sir, I am your student. Sir, I am your teacher. Within 1 hour, all happiness has come. So right or wrong, it is different matter. Different matter. We all responsible. Like this madam, I went in Dindigul, one principal I met, principal. He is a professor of business administration. I am professor of business administration. I was talking. One boy came, alumnus. Hello, he told me, come here, just come. About me, you tell. About our college, you tell me. He told, sir, just come. I will come after 5 minutes. No, come. You tell about me, tell about everybody now. Then he told, sir, I studied BCom in another college. I was working for 25,000 per month in a company. I studied MBA in your college. In the same company, they asked me for 15,000 per month. With the BCom, 25. After got education from you, 15,000. Go. After justice, there go. Come later. That's what he did. After justice goes, I will come. He told, so I am telling. The college, you cannot say that I did not handle this paper, I did not do this, I am not responsible. No. It's a stand, teacher. Quality matters. That's why when he introduced it also, she told, Panchanaram has written 473 papers. For your information, even 10% I did not write. All majority of that, 63 candidates earned PhD under my guidance. 63. Along with the teacher, they wrote this. From every candidate, an IAS officer is police officer. Many professors in many other countries, Singapore, Malaysia, they all studied well settled except me. So this 63 PhD, they wrote many papers. I don't know my son. Practically I'm telling quality. How? The topic is quality. The topic is NAAC. The topic is binary system. The topic is NEP implementation. Ultimately, it ends up with the quality. Quality is not a destination. Quality is a journey. Quality is a journey. I have been addressing in many colleges. B grade colleges invited me because they wanted to become B plus. B plus invited me, they wanted to become A. A invited me, they wanted to become A plus. Today A plus invited me, they wanted to become A plus plus. Already I went for A plus plus. I asked, where did you go? No, it is a journey. At least I want to retain A plus plus. Motivate our people, talk something, whatever you know, share your experience. Quality matters. Outcome matters. I asked the same question with my son who was a graduate from IIT doing his PhD in Singapore. I asked him, I have written 473 papers. Except to Uma Devi, madam, nobody is inviting me for any talk. But your classmates are going to many places. How? You know, Daddy, in your question, answer is there. How can you write 473 papers? I tell you the story. My senior, Uppari, is also from Andhra Pradesh, got PhD from INSEAD. He type INSEAD and you can see that he gets $4,000 per month. Now on 2nd February, with your blessings, he got appointment from Hong Kong, assistant professor. Salary is 1.8 crore. 1 year, 1.8 crore. My wife and I, we worked with 33 years. Total saving is 1.8 crore. Total saving is 1.8 crore, 33 years. Wife and I. But the boy is getting 1.8 crore 1 year. Hong Kong Business School, University of Hong Kong. He says, your answer is in your question. 473 papers, how can you publish? Where is the quality? Where is the quality? My senior published 2 papers, just 2 papers. For 2 papers, he was given a PhD, not like this, our thesis. Thesis for them is 2 papers they put together, staple it, give it to the teacher. It goes to Stanford, Harvard, Cambridge, somewhere it goes Columbia, somewhere it goes, 15 days it comes. They conduct a PhD for which they give PhD degree every month, 4,000 Singapore dollar plus appointment, placement, at least 23,000 Singapore dollar per month. So my son got it for 1.8 crore. I am converting to be proud of Indian rupee. So all these things. Apart from that, that boy Uppari, before Corona, he got 50 invitations from 50 countries to speak about his paper, 1.5 hours. Another 1.5 hour discussion, 3 hours invitation. He has got 2 papers for which, for 1.5 hours talk, $5,000 is paid. $5,000. I give address, you can talk. 5,000, 32 years old boy, little elder than my son. 32 years old boy, $5,000, business class, star hotel, students taking around the city. Before Corona, last one he visited Australia, but one of the universities, first event. $5,000 to speak, aeroplane, then star hotel, local tour, 19 countries he visited. Remaining he could not go, Corona came. But 473 papers, text to Uma madam, nobody is invited. Quality matters. Today's topic is quality. So it is a teamwork. Everybody should, teachers' work is, students' work is. My son's, you see this, my son's, this money was stopped with 5 years over for PhD. The guide is giving $3,000 until he completes. Because along with him, the paper is published, only 2 papers, world top journals, A-star journal, only 2 papers. Quality matters. Not only in research, but also in teaching. In teaching, the writer sense people used to tell in Tamil Nadu, when an inspector came to class, the teacher is talking about Ramayana, he is teaching Ramayana. So he wanted to check, the inspector is asking question to the child, 8th standard, 9th standard. Who broke the bow? Who broke the bow of Janaka Maharaja? The boy, sir, I did not do that. I did not break anything, sir. He got angry. What type of teaching you are doing? The Ramayana, who broke the bow? I am asking. He says, I am. The teacher says, sir, among the students, he is the good boy, sir. He will never break anything, sir. Even a small pen, he will not break, sir. And he got angry. He went to headmaster. Headmaster, sir, the school is a good school, sir. However, sir, in one or two classes, one or two teacher students are behaving like this. You give me a complaint, sir. I will find out really who broke them. In the school, certainly there are some mischievous boys. Somebody would have broken it, I will find out. Then his BP increased. Went to his officer, chief inspector officer. He asked him, sir, I went to school. People are talking like this. In Ramayana, who broke the bow? I asked the question. He was teaching Ramayana. Everybody is telling like that. Then he told, come here, sit here. If you go to school, whether attendance is there, cleanliness is there, teaching learning is going on, you should come with that. Who broke what? What is this? The government, they are given you a provision. Something is broken, you can write it in the broken list. You can write it in the stock list, you can write this is broken. 10% is allowed. There are 100 mics in this KLE institution. End of the year, 10 mics can be broken, no problem. If 90 is broken, management will question you. 10 broken is easy, no problem. You write. He got tired and went to go. The wife asked her, why you are so tired? In Ramayana, who broke that? It's a problem. Why did you go to all these people? You would have asked me. Do you know? Yes, I know. Who broke this one? Our Pakistan Secretary broke that. You know, who is Pakistan Secretary? When this lady was very young, like them, she used to see Ramayana in the street. Where Pakistan Secretary was acting as Rama. Finally, Pakistan Secretary broke the bow. So why answer like that? So he wanted to resign the job. So whether it is teaching, like Pakistan Secretary matter, or research like Panjanagam 500 paper, 5,000 paper, 2,000 paper, nobody is inviting. Matter is same. Matter is same. So why I am telling here for friends, quality matters. Teaching, research, institution building. It is going to be participative. I am talking the subject. I am not telling stories to you. Storytelling is a method of teaching. I was a teacher. I was a student of Bachelor of Education. I was a vice chancellor in the university where teacher education. System of 42 colleges. Teacher education. I used to speak. I used to sometimes ask people how many pedagogies, how many methods are there to teach something. 3, 2, 4, 5 times. Just to browse, you can know. There are 150 methods of teaching. You can dance and teach, sing and teach, field visit you can teach, drama you can teach, extempo you can teach. This is a method, teaching learning method. Conference is a teaching learning method. Seminar is a teaching learning method. Games is a method. Games is a method. Children, you all sit straight, take your right leg, rotate like this inside, sit there, look, rotate like this, right leg, clockwise. Same time, opposite to the hand should, same hand should. Anybody is doing, I'll give 500 rupees. Anybody is ready, I'll give. See, clockwise you should rotate your leg. Same time, same side hand should go opposite side. Anybody is proving here? I will give 500 rupees price. This is the method of teaching. Exercise. No, stop that. I'm lagging. Stop that. Exercise. Then games, field visit, educational tour, seminar, conference, extempo talk, question and answer, quiz. 150 methods. That is the reason to teach in the class. To teach 1 hour, we have to prepare 3 hours. What is the method you are going to use? What type of children are here? What is their brain quality standard. 3 hours you have to dream, present, prepare. That is how you can become a quality teacher. Institution will grow, you will grow in your own place. When Honorable Baba President of India, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was working in the Mysore University teaching philosophy, way back before independence, I think after independence, when he was transferred and posted in Kolkata, he used to go to class, 11 o'clock class, he used to go by 11:20. He will come out by 11:40. If you and I do today, Uma Madam will give memo or dismiss. Every day going 11 o'clock class, 11:20. 11:40 coming out. Children will be happy, but we will be unhappy, we will be sent out. But Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, before he became Honorable Vice President, later President of India, was working as a teacher like you and I, never had bad feedback. Because his capacity is what you and I do teaching learning process. What you and I can teach these children in 1 hour, he is capable of doing it in 20 minutes. You teach 1 hour, see the measure the outcome. Same thing for another set. I will teach in 20 minutes. See his capacity. That is the reason when he was transferred, students did not allow him to go. You go to my university, Panchanadi is transferred to Hubli. In personal expenses, they will bring and drop me here. But when Radhakrishnan was transferred, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was transferred, they were weeping. They are not allowing Mysore railway station. The horse cart has to go. They removed all horses. Teachers should not go. Teachers should not go. That ultimately convinced. Then horses were not there. Students acted, played the role of horses, asking his teacher to sit on the cart. They pulled their teacher to the railway station. By weeping, they gave the send-off. See the teacher. Even today, now you can see in TV. Every day you can see some teachers are going. They are very happy children. They give money, packet, garlanding, they push. Some teachers are going, they weep. Even today, quality matters. Involvement matters. Commitment matters. Commitment matters. Professional skill matters. I'll give you wrong examples so that easily you can understand. Skill. What type of skill? During Corona period, somebody did not get a job. Available job also left. So he decided to go for stealing. House by house going, stealing something, he decided. First he came to one house. Imagine that is my house. I'm a retired person sleeping on the floor. He came. He kept like this. Hey, take the Almera key, bureau key, take. So immediately asked her, are you new to the profession? Stealing profession? Or it is a surprise? He is new, only today he has come. How did he know? In one Tamil movie, whatever these young beautiful girls, they think that actor will listen, mind voice he will listen. Something like that, one movie came. Like that, I have come first time to steal. How did he know? He took the knife. How do you know? How do you know? Very simple. In India, that too in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, gold, platinum, jewels, money kept in the bureau and Almera. Will any man keep the key? Madam said, see her house practice. No. Will any man keep in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu? See, everything always women keep. Though 3 women are sleeping, center one is my wife. Left side in the hip, the key is hanging. But one thing, for the past 1 week, I'm a professor, retired professor. Past 1 week, I wanted to steal 500 rupees from the bureau. No, always she is keeping like this. I'm not able to. At least you be happy, go. So he took, opened. Where she escaped, he could not. That much she is very clever. But knowing the husband mindset, she escaped some 1,000 rupees in the first row. So he took that 5,000 rupees. This fellow is seeing something he will give. Because he is the person who show where is the key. He came, thief. All the 1,000 rupees. Hey, you Troubled yourself, you stole all the 1,000 why you are giving. He replied, I have few houses. I have few houses. You are a professor, husband. You want to steal in your own home. You cannot go into the neighbor house. But I can do it. Take all the 1,000. So it is the lighter sense it is told. The matter is, in Tamil there is a proverb, that means you should have the skill. You want to be a teacher, our children will find out. In 5 minutes, they will find out this fellow is prepared or not. Even today, they have found out that this fellow does not know binary system. The topic is, binary system, because it is not implemented. It is only qualitative, participatory, emerging, yes or no type. More than that, you cannot find in the internet also. I spoke to some of the NAAC officers also. I will tell you, wait, after conference, I will tell you. Because it is yet to be implemented, but it's going to be, in 10 years, it is going to come. Yes or no? More not in this quantity, how many conference, how many seminar, how many teacher, they will be there. But more of outcome based, quality based. Where did you study? What is the outcome? Nobody is ready to listen. Sir, I am your student. IAS officer, okay. I am your student, entrepreneur, okay. I am your student, jobless. You are also not working, the teacher also not working, institution also not working. Go. So it's going to be the practice. So that is what they say, the 360 degree. Everywhere, even talking. I remember as they introduced in Russia, the Southern Federal University, Rostov, and a visiting professor once per year. I used to go and teach for some time. When last time I went in Moscow, we had to change the flight. My wife gave some idli, bread, everything. It all went through this luggage. By mistake, I kept the handbag. Nothing is there. Diabetic, very very difficult. It is time. No food is available. No salt is there. It is going like this, like tire. So vegetarian also. Somehow I found a shop where one vegetarian bread I identified. Then I am giving my dollar. It's not accepted. It's not accepted. You give this only this money. And he's asking in their language, Russian language, are you first time traveler? She introduced me. I have made 56 international visits. Because I did not change money, he says you are the first time traveler. No, then go. If we don't project our behavior properly, then it becomes an opportunity for others to comment. And he says, no, you go and change money. I have to go 2 floors down and change money and come back. This one bread somebody may buy. I'm so tired, red, eyes are red. That day, at this age, my son's age, this type of boys, one boy was there. He is seeing all these things. And he is looking at me. He is eating something. He is the only person there, 10, 15 people, he knows English. He is asking me, sir, may I request you to be my guest today? See the language. See the language. I don't know, somebody's son. See the education. See the quality. He is unknown to me. In few minutes he understood everything. Old man, hungry, no money. Money is not valid. Going down, coming up is not possible. By that time, bread may be sold. Everything. Quick. Sir, may I request you to be my guest today? The same thing can be spoken in another language. No money, not valid, no food there. You will die. Okay, I will pay. Eat, go. All Indians are like that only. Why are you coming to Russia? This is also communication. May I request you to be my guest today? That is also communication. Seek his teacher. Don't worry about him. For 35 years it happens to me. Whenever I teach, some people sleep. But maybe sick, you have to check. So I am telling here, this is the outcome. It is not the syllabus reproduction, what you studied in syllabus, writing in the examination, whether it is there in the unit or not like that. Public, you see that I am considering him as a well-educated person. How does a foreigner he speaks? So quality is inbuilt in all our behavioral aspect. So in that way, friends, my time comes to an end. At least now and then I will say a few words about this binary system. We must be alert. We must be ready for binary system. NEP says yes or no. Even today, Stanford is not accredited one. Harvard is not accredited one. But we want to go and study only there. So accreditation, institution image is more important. Quality is more important. You accredited, you are not accredited. No, you are not accredited, people will come. Higher grade people will come. But no quality education, you have higher grade, nobody will come. Stanford is not accredited. Harvard is not accredited. Cambridge is not accredited. But we are ready to go. I was sharing with him. I was a student in the University of Cambridge just a few years ago before I became vice chancellor through the LEAP program. Thanks to Government of India, they called us LEAP program. You also can attend, go to those places, the short-term courses. I used to ask the professor, sir, why you are so good? Every whole world wants to study in Cambridge. But for me, I have to catch people for admission. Why? And he used to tell, diversity matters. Many quality parameters are there. Diverse, I was sharing with the sir. Diversity. How many foreign students representing how many countries studying in your university? So 596. Oh, 596, very good. How many countries? Only 5. Majority South African, only Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, 111, 5, 6 countries. But here, students are representing 160 countries. The way they interact, president's sons are studying, prime minister's sons are studying. Rajiv Gandhi studied here. This is the portal where Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi met. They proposed. So I also went there, sat. But for me, it is too late. Anyhow, this is the place I sat where Rajiv Gandhi was sitting for some time. I said, but opposite to no Sonia Gandhi. Only. So why I'm telling you, my friends were there, but only I went there. So diversity, he concludes, my children, my students are more knowledgeable than me. They interact with 160 countries, students, culture, language, knowledge, so many things. Quality. It's not quality, I get 99 out of 100, out of 100, 100 out of 100. It is not restricted to that. It is clear. Something more than that, binary system. Qualitative, participatory. What is your involvement? What is your commitment? What type of paper we publish? What type of preparation we have? What type of institution building we have? How many leadership qualities? I remember 1999, I was a young lecturer, went to Sweden, Stockholm. I presented a research paper. After John Adair was the chairperson, I was a lecturer presenting, because every day I used to refer John Adair paper for leadership and personality and teach my MBA student. I met John Adair there. I'm going and touching 10 times. He is a man, I am a man, no problem. Touching, because for me, you can see authors nowadays, but those days it's very difficult. The guru from whom we are referring teaching, I need meeting personally. Conference was on leadership. I asked a question, sir, to become an eminent leader in the chosen period, people field, police officer, teacher, or businessman, entrepreneur, in any field, you want to be a great leader. How many qualities one should imbibe? I asked a question. He told 1,573 qualities. I told, thank you. Because I am talking in English with the help of one is, one go, one I come, one I, one sit, one we, one you, with the 200 words I am talking with a lot of grammatical mistake. He says 1,573 vocabularies, qualities. Creativity is one, smart thinking is one, problem solving is one, constructive thinking is one, walking, the way we walking is a quality. One skill, 1,573. But I remembered I was studying in a Tamil medium school. Whatever my teacher teaches for 1 year, previous day to examination, I will personally meet important questions. All the 1 year I was teaching is important. Please, teacher, important. Even then, sometimes I remember, one is about a cow. essay will come tomorrow. Another one is about coconut tree. 100 essays I have taught. At least the 2 you study. I studied about coconut tree. Again, I made a choice. This story you would have heard. Somebody would have told. Next day I went to examination. About the cow they have asked. I prepared about coconut tree. I did not worry. What I know I wrote coconut tree. The last line, creativity. Last line. The cow you have asked is tied in a tree I have written. About the tree I have written. And now the teacher is in trouble. You cannot say it is wrong. Only lowest mark I will give you. I also want lowest mark. Only pass I want. But he says 1573 asked an important question. He asked the question, are you from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India? Sorry, India. South or North? South India. Do you know Tamil? Sir, Tamil, sir. Tamil, sir. Then he is telling, there is a couplet in Tirukural. Agalvarai tangum nilam bola. Tammai igalvarai poruttal talai. That means the person is standing here on earth, he is damaging the earth with some equipment, but the earth is bearing him also. He accepts, tolerates. He is damaging, he accepts. Similarly, Tammai igalvarai. Some people are criticizing your dress, your language, your face, criticizing your knowledge. Tammai igalvarai, criticizing people. Also, tolerance, accept it. Make them your friend. Let them criticize you. Is Talai. Talai means Talaivan. Talaivan means leader. You want to be a leader, you ask the question is how to be a leader. This is the first and foremost quality. If you have tolerance to tolerate criticism in your chosen field, you will become a great leader. These 1573 qualities will come automatically. Tamil man to learn Tamil by paying aeroplane charge went to Sweden. When Tamil teacher is teaching, I did not take it serious. I went there. So why I am telling your friends, NEP, they end up with quality oriented, skill oriented. I went to recently one state, I was sharing with him. MSc BEd teacher, beautiful, tall, beautiful teacher, asking the driver, after saying that he is a teacher, he is studying like this. Teacher, yes teacher, I will drop you teacher. Okay. But he is asking, teacher, she is asking the driver, can you marry me? Because you are earning 30 to 40,000 per month. MSc BEd 4,500 per month in the school. I am teacher student, that is different, but this is there. This should be answered every 3 hours. Morning she gave idli, sweet, coffee. Never we said no. Can I bring more? Yes, you bring. One more? Yes, one more. Then she automatically stopped. She thought that we will say no. We never said no. So this is not 1573 qualities, no. Driver, no problem, marry me. So quality matters. Quality matters. Participative method, binary system, yes or no. Even small amount of missing is there. Your quality, feedback oriented. It's going to be feedback. Feedback oriented. How our class? Some classes you see that. Some classes teachers say, oh, study, all of you study, particularly schools at that in the afternoon. I remember when I was in the school, class leader. He will put a class leader person like me, Mota leader. Afternoon, 2 o'clock, my teacher, with this height different career, I will go and bring food from his house. So he's sitting inside the class, it's better to go on food. So I bring food, he used to eat this much. For him, age is an advantage, he will remove the shirt, banian, only 30, 55 years. Sit. Afternoon, 2 o'clock is a very good, what is that? Roof with leaf of coconut. Very good air will come in the sun. It is April. Very good air will come. So hot outside. Full meal. After that, no shirt, no banian. He'll sit. We used to do this massage here. And tall man will be there. He will do this fanning, hand fan. You see. The way he is enjoying, even American president cannot enjoy. So that much he will be enjoying. And he will ask the children, 8th standard children, all of you study, read. These children, no book, they will keep like this. No. So, like birds are, some sound will come, like birds. The air will come, so hot outside. No bunny, no shirt, full wheel. We are doing this. Even American president will not get. The God-given people only get this. On that day, so presence of mind. On that day, inspector came. Sir, inspector. He just stood up. All of you listen. There are 16 ribs here. We are talking biology. Rib number 1, rib number 2, rib number 3. The villa element 1, 2, 3. He is teaching. Headmaster, principal, maybe. He is the practical teacher. He is the original teacher. A teacher should be like this. Even medical college, rib 1, rib 2, rib 3, they show in the TV. Here is the teacher live. Removing shirt and banyan. Rib 1. Oh, girls, you also listen. Not only this side also. 1, 2, 3. So immediately he says, principal says, inspector, please recommend him for the best teacher award. But for the principal, headmaster, according to her, the whole school is the useless teacher. This much eating, sleeping, because she herself is a student for him. Nothing, retirement age, nothing can be done. You cannot give memo, you cannot do anything. So such a poor teacher. But using presence of mind, students also will use presence of mind. A teacher is teaching this building with the help of 400 people constructed in 800 days. If the same building is to be constructed with the help of 600 people, how many days it will take? We all give some no in the schools. One boy is asking, math teacher. This is an unwanted question. When 400 people already constructed this building, why should we again construct? Math teacher is asking, this is how my teacher taught. I don't know no other. So I am telling them, these are all creativity, but not a constructive creativity. Now the NEP, binary system, qualitative, participatory method, these are all the terminologies of binary system, qualitative. They are going to assess, I think the peer team, you are now managing 2 days and 3 days. Earlier we used to go 3 days, now it is 2 days. I think they will stay here for many days. So immediately these two madams are looking at the principal. Yes, you are right. This is the only way, it's a better way always. You don't like somebody, recommend to become principal. All our problems solved. You understand? I told you morning I proved, after this increase I took from your home, I took 4 or 5 tablets. He asked me, what is this? Outcome of program outcome, course of outcome of vice chancellorship. For 57 years, never I took tablets. Somewhere from this Kalpal, I will take one antibiotic once for 2 years, maybe sick. 57 years, I did not take anything. First year, I joined vice chancellor. Second year, even big people did not come. Mr. Sindhil, my driver, he took me to Mount Diabetic. Sir, 1 year is already over, sir, please check. Really, he checked. You have both the diabetic and so many tablets. Today morning, I showed everybody and I took this outcome. But I pray to God that she should not get anything. But you are all very cooperative and wonderful. And I have seen that she should not resign also. But you need not do that. Like these wonderful students and teachers, you will never get anywhere. Such a great people and very nice people. You need not worry about it. Sometimes they will come 5 minutes late or little angry. They did not do 1 or 2 work. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But finally they will do it. So without their contribution, how can you get the A plus? So I give you want me to sign somewhere, I will sign in the bond. I am seeing the face. seeing the face, from the face I am telling, they are all highly dedicated. Even 2 months you don't give salary, they will work. So it's actually dedicated. This is a binary method, qualitative, participative, yes or no type, we don't worry about it. Teachers' 3 important jobs is teaching, research, institution building, along with the community development. So in that way, you all must be dynamic. For, madam, you don't do like this. Who will do that? Anyhow, according to me, my time, 4 more minutes, I will stop. She wanted me to talk 1 hour, 4 more minutes, I will stop. Here, these terminologies of yes or no type, yes or no type, 360 degree of analysis. Every student should be prepared. Every teacher should be prepared. Every non-teaching should be prepared. So it is the institution name with which we are living in the society. So institution is first, individual is second. Principal will come and principal will go. Teacher will come, teacher will go. Student will come, student will go. But institution will live long. And we have big responsibility of taking care of our mother country and other part of the world. The reason is our GER, NEP. GER is less than 30%. Gross enrollment ratio. The meaning, the children, those who are studying here, you've got a big responsibility. You have to know this fact that your classmates in the schools, out of every 100 children, GER 30% means only like you 30%. Out of 100 children, 30 children have come to BA, BSc, become MBBS, BSc Agriculture, BDS, MBA, all those things. Remaining 70% of your classmates in the schools, they want to study. There is no education ecosystem. No KLE society like this, 294 institutions you have, but still it is insufficient. 70% students are not having enough ecosystem to study higher education in this country. No food, no mother, no father, no money, no admission. Some reasons. Only 30% is out of 1.41 billion people of this country. Around 24% people are illiterate. Go to Hubli bus stand. Stay half an hour. Somebody will come. Amma, Abba, yeah. Whether this bus will go to Belgavi, read, please read. Please. Our brothers and sisters in this country, 1.4, 24%, which is equivalent to more or less 3 times of population of a European country. For example, if we take France, like France, 3 times, 10 crore, 30 crore. 3 times of population of France. In this country, Bharat, they do not know to write their names. It's a shame for us also. We call them brothers and sisters. Thanks to COVID, for this one particular aspect, I could see my co-professor. He has got 1 wife like me. He has got 1 daughter, my son. I could see in the temple, he is doing Archana for 7 names, doing Korean upgrade in Ishwar temple. 7 names. Bharani Nakshatra, Major Rashi, Kumbha Nakshatra, Nagara Rashi, 7 people is doing. I called him, come here. Gunashekhara, his name is Gunashekhara, come here. You have 1 wife, 1 daughter here. How 7 came? Then he said, another one is what? Our party, servant maid. For servant maid, 1 Archana. Then Iron Man. Every day comes to home, 1 Archana. Then vegetable vendor, every day comes. Why are you doing? Because if they get corona, I also will get corona. So for them also, corona should not come. So I am doing Archana. So corona has given a good result to the people. Same thing education. You are well educated. But many people are not educated. Society is affected. You and I will be affected. Even last month in one state, police officer's cell phone was taken by he is a police officer. He is walking on the road. Somebody bike came in the bike, took the police officer's status is like this. How can you and I go that to go? So everybody should have a. And apart from that is the final thing I will close. How quality and good education is required, for which a binary method is going to give a lot of scope. Many things I am not able to tell because not unprepared, not literature itself has not come out. But this is the system. Any question you want to ask them? But not only in India, throughout the world, many people, you just to check your cell phone, there are 2 clocks are running. One clock is birth clock. Every second, many people are born. Another clock is running. Every second, many people are dying. See, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. One person is dying. Not because I am talking, people are dying. The girl is looking at me and she is doing like this. Not that. Because of 95% of the death, because of want of food. Only 4 to 5% killing, murder, professional killer, accident, all those things. 95 to 96% of people in the world, our brothers and sisters in all countries, every second one person is dying for want of food. Recently, I went to Vietnam from Korea, Seoul. One professor, great scientist, came and he came with the solution. He collected data for this issue, came with 3 solutions. Solution is there, data collected, research was done, science, but unable to implement because the first solution, it is in your hands. If women decide to solve this problem of 1% dying in one second, they can do. What they have to do? Very simple. Very simple. Today morning also I took Fair and Lovely. But one time, our sisters, 10 quotes. 1 quote you reduce. Now I am not telling. The girl is very angry, madam. I am not telling. That professor says, sales of makeup industry in the world, around 200 countries per year in those days, $3,000 billion. $3,000 billion. To alleviate this poverty of death for want of food, only for this issue, you need $300 billion. 10%. So this 10 quote, 1 quote is reduced. 10%. It is diverted towards alleviation. The problem is solved. Data collected, research is done, solution is available. On the spot, my wife, she is also professor. She said, anybody talks, that means I will translate. I will translate. That means anybody talks anything, you will listen immediately. We will go around to Vietnam. Come. So, the immediate result, she does not want to reduce. Then he told, these women don't cooperate, please. Men, you can solve the problem. How? More or less, this industry also $3,000 billion. It does not mean that they don't drink. It does not mean that we don't do makeup. Ours is less, for them more. Recently in TV came in 23% of women drinking alcohol increased in Delhi. You type and you can see. So we don't go gender based, but the result is they don't accept, you accept. $3,000 billion per year. 10% you reduce. 2, 3 you take. 10% you reduce. Divert towards food for those. Nobody will die for want of. Data collected. Regression, Manava, Mangova, everything done. Result, very good solution is there. Both are not ready. Third solution. Wastage of food. His son, when he was in IIT Madras, he used to frequently invite father and mother for eating. We go there eating. Whatever we did, take this one. Immediately good. Dirty, see there. So for 52 kilogram of food is wasted. You eat everything. Eat, over, then go and take. Don't take everything, eat, then throw it out. So without this, I cannot speak. So instead that don't waste food. All over the world, he has collected data. The research paper is there. You can see. If you don't waste your food, men or women, divert, nobody will die for want of. So good research, good data collection, good thinking, good solutions. But the thing is, in all 3 categories, This industry sales has increased. This industry sales has increased. Food wastage also has increased. The person dying 1 second per person, that is also increasing. So the quality matters here. Quality is not this number, quantity. Here something else is required to address these issues in the world. That is NEP. If it is not inbuilt there, that is not NEP. That NEP is not required. NP required means the binary system, qualitative, participative, qualitative approach. So friends, I have a lot of points here. You should not doubt me. I have prepared. But if I start talking this, madam will become unhappy because she gave 1 hour time. That 1 hour time is over. So therefore, teachers, students, we have to realize our duties that quality is a journey. It does not have a destination. Whether binary system, any other system, if our institution is not recognized, we have the identity that I am working here, KLE. Like father, mother, we go with this identity. Don't do it for the institution's sake. Don't do it if principal is asking you to work. Don't do that. You do that. You involve in that. Sir, only I go to my class, I talk. Class is over, home. If you are like that, any work, I was registered. I was vice chancellor. But principal also tell you, only file means what will happen. Like me, one register retire. Next day morning, with the court and suit is going. Wife called, come here. Yesterday evening, you retired. They will not allow you. Why you are going with the court to see result? What is this? Oh, no, register. No, sit here. No, this environment is not good. My office, my office, have you come my office? Then he himself spent all money, retired money, made a very good register office at home. And every day morning he used to go in the chair. And gring. Nobody comes. Then what to do? They have to say, wife, no other but he 30 years I managed. Now hereafter managing is the problem with the So he came. So some change should be introduced, Wives are clever. They say that don't like this, dress and sit, it's not good. If I talk like this, you are fighting with me. The third street, our friend house, child is born. We will go and see some change so that he will forget this. He says, shh, principal, register, license, no oral permission. Put up file. So immediately she asked, called the deputy registrar in the university. What this fellow is asking file? What is file? Take a pad. Put in a white paper. You write what? Oh, that was easy file. She took the pad and put file. The third state child is born. We will go and give a presentation and we will come A, approved, B, not approved. This fellow, is it approved or not approved? He is asking. Child was born between whom? Who is the father, who is the mother? When our child was born, what gift he gave? Now, for how much you are going to give? 10 queries he wrote. File means 10 queries he wrote. She got upset. Again, every day is coming. Next day she took, she knows what is file. She took the pad. She wrote, we will go to Spoobli Bazaar. We will buy rice this many kilogram, coffee powder this many, 10 items. Yes or no, approved, not approved. This fellow again writes, did you get quotation for all these things? Did you make a table of lowest quotation? So 10 queries. Then she told that after 30 years we managed it. Hereafter, it is not possible for us to manage, you cannot manage. So third day, he herself took the pad, white paper. I am going to my mother's house. 3 days I want CL. At least he can say yes or no. What did he write? CL is granted. But until you come back, make alternate arrangement. For wise men. So we teachers, only teaching, nothing else. Institution building, we don't know. One day we will be eliminated. Principal, vice chancellor, only file, other things we don't know. One day when they eliminate it. It's going to be a competitive world. Competitive world. So we must be dynamic. We must be prepared. And easily people will understand whether the person is dynamic or not. Only such people can come up in life and take care of the institution. Finally, our country, our brothers and sisters in all 200 countries for which quality matters, binary system will come. It will take some time, it will come. Participative method, qualitative method, participative method, outcome-based method, more number of days they will stay. Everything is not number they will write qualitative. Ultimately, they decide this institution is yes or no. Accredited, not accredited. That's going to be the stage. More information has not come on that, so I'm not able to talk. But still, matter is going to be same. Process will be announced very soon. With this note, I'm happy to inaugurate this wonderful conference. On behalf of all of you, I congratulate organizing team for having very good arrangements for this. And similarly, on behalf of the organizing team, I appreciate, I congratulate for investing your valuable time to get new insights or to get reinforced of existing knowledge in new. So with this note, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to our university, Annamalai University. I'm retired, but still my wife works there in the quarters I am living. Welcome to Chidambaram, all of you, and welcome to my home. Thanks for the opportunity given to me. God bless all. Thank you.
We are extremely mesmerized by your humor and very inspiring, informative speech as you have shed light on binary accreditation system as per new education policy. Thank you, sir. We feel honored by your presence. And now I request our principal madam to felicitate sir with the memento. Thank you, sir. We humbly miss the presence of Sri Shankarana I. Munvalli, sir, Director, Board of Management, KLE Society, Pedagogy. So I now request our dear Principal Madam to present the presidential talks.
Thank you, Siddesh. In presence of our beloved President and our person, Sri S.I. Munvalli, as he got the commitments of 3 urgent meetings in head office Belgaum. So once again, I will stand before you. Sir has inaugurated our national conference, and 1 hour we thought that vice chancellor means something very strict and all, but very lighter moments and with values and ethics. He showed that how the quality matters and how to sustain. Only accreditation by the any agency is not important, but the ethics in the persons, the values in the persons matters most to sustain this quality, whether it is the institute or anything, it is accredited or not. So it all depends on the human values and human being to take our own personal things and the where we are working as an institution or in the corporate, that is our whole and sole responsibility to take and uplift our surroundings. Sir has traveled from Chidambaram to the Hubli, and with his experience, I think he said that the teaching methodologies are different. Uh, so his students has enjoyed much more in his 30 years of teaching with such a lighter moments with the different examples and all. So these are the things we have to invite in our personal life also, so as to lead the happy life and to make the surrounding happy life. The NEP certainly it will make the future of India and you young generation are the energetic one. who will definitely strive for the quality enhancement in yourself as well as in the surrounding. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to request Dr. Siddesh MP sir, IQAC coordinator of our college, to propose a vote of thanks.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to propose vote of thanks for in this inaugural function. First and foremost, I would like to thank the NAAC office Bangalore for sanctioning 30,000 rupees for conducting this one-day national seminar on participatory process in NAAC, a binary accreditation system as per new accreditation system. So thank you. So, and I would like to thank our Kelly management also for supporting and guiding us all over to conduct this function. And I would like to thank our chief guest and the keynote addresser, who is young and energetic, Dr. N. Panchanathan sir, who is a former Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu University. So I would like to thank you, sir, on behalf of our KLE management and on behalf of us and on behalf of our KLE SK and Arts College. Thank you for being with us, sir, and thank you for inspiring us and by telling how to teach, how a teacher should teach. And with your simple examples, so we are motivated, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I would like to thank, on his absence, our director Shankarna I. Munvalli, sir, for supporting and guiding us. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank Dr. M.S. Chaitra, sir, Professor, Chanakya University, Bangalore, who is going to present in the next technical session, which is going to begin. So thank you, sir, for your presence. I would like to thank our beloved principal, madam, for her presence and supporting through to conduct this seminar. Thank you, madam. And I would like to thank and again welcome all the delegates from various institutes and all my student friends and research scholars and all my colleague friends, everyone. Thank you, madam. Within 5 minutes, the technical session will begin. The first session will be again started by our resource person, Dr. M.S. Chaitra sir. So we'll have a break of 5 minutes and this technical session will begin soon. Please. So here only the tea is arranged. Here only the tea will come. So all are requested to be here.
Everyone are humbly requested to maintain the decorum. The technical session 1 will begin in few moments. I request everyone to stay back at their places.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ ಮಸಾಲೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಇದು ಡೊಂಕಾತ್ರಿ ತೆಗಿರಿ ತೆಗಿರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದ್ರಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅದ ಆ ಕಡೆ come and meet me ಹಾ ಆತಲ್ರಿ ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಐತಪ್ಪ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಐತಿಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದು ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ podium ಇದೆ. Podium ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. Podium
ಅದು ಇದನ್ನೇ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಕಲರ್
podium ದೂರ ಐತಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಜಾಗ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ತುಂಬ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್
ಇದನ್ನ ಇದೇ ಸರ್ಸ್ಲಿ.
ಇದನ್ನ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಅದು ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ಹಿಂಗೆ ತೆಗಿತಾರೆ.
podium ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡೆ ಸರಿ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಭಾಳ ಇದನ್ನ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಸರಿ.
ನಿಧಾನ. ಹಾಂ
podium ಕಡೆ ಸರಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್
ಏನ್ ಬಗ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕಾಣ್ಬೇಕಾ?
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲ
ಸರಿ ಡೌನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಟ್ಟೆ ನೋಡಿ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಟ್ಟೆ ನೋಡಿ ಡೌನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ.
ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒಂಚೂರು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬೆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದು ಬೆಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪೋಡಿಯಂ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ
ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಧ ಕಾಣ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಒಂಚೂರು ಸರ್ಸಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ರೈಟ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ನಾಗಲ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಸರ
Good afternoon. afternoon, everyone. Now we will begin with the technical session 1. Technical session 1 will be presented by Dr. M.S. Chaitra, Associate Professor, School of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, Chandika University, Bangalore. So now I would like to call upon Sherwat Madam to introduce the guest.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and of the dais, it's my privilege to introduce today's distinguished guest speaker, M.S. Chaitra sir. He was born on May 1st, 1978 and got his post-graduation from University of Mysore in zoology. He has been awarded with NET in 2001 and Research Fellowship in 2002. His professional records are Associate Professor, School of Arts, Humanities and Social Science, Chanakya University, Senior Fellow, India Studies Unit, CESS Bangalore, Director and Fellow, Arohi Bangalore, Indian Coordinator, India Platform, Ghent University, Belgium, Founder Fellow, Development Foundation, Bangalore, Director, Center for Conservation and Convergence, Tumkur University, Director, Center for Educational and Social Studies, Bangalore. Projects Assistant, Center for Ecological Sciences, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Junior Research Fellow, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun. Junior Research Fellow, Department of Zoology, Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, Orissa. Technical Assistant, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun. Research Assistant, Department of Psychology, University of Mysore. Apart from this, he is a multifaceted person. Member, Kuvenpu Bhasha Bharati, Government of Karnataka. Non-official member, National Biodiversity Authority, Government of India, even though his specialization is in genetics, behavior, and ecology of different organisms in India with a special focus on the Western Ghats. He is coordinating a group of young PhD students who work in developing the scientific hypothesis on Indian traditions. He works with a large international group that is working on studying India with the framework called Comparative Science of Culture. This is brief introduction of today's resource person, MS Chaitra sir. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we will begin with the technical session 1. I request Dr. M.S. Chaitra sir to present the technical session 1 on the topic issues of learning, teaching, and thinking in higher education and possible directions.
No, I can use this. I have absolutely. Professor Panchanathan sir, Umadevi madam, Siddesh sir, Devdat, and all other faculty member associated with this conference, and also people present here, and research scholars and students who have been part of it. Now, after the illustrious talk of the speaker like Panchanathan sir, I mean, I would find it very difficult to speak because, see, there are combination of things that he possessed in terms of set of oratory skills and also the kind of pedagogy that he was using in terms of communicating something. In that sense, I belong to this category of people who are labeled as pedantic scholars, kind of, So it is very difficult to, after such a vibrant conversation in the morning, I find it very difficult to make my case. But nonetheless, I am interested in bringing your attention to some of these conversations in India which have taken a very significant part of the conversation in the last 2-3 years about rethinking in education. In fact, the major serious discussion around how do we conceptualize education for future India began with the formation of National Knowledge Commission under the chairmanship of Sam Pitroda. And then there was Eshpal Committee, and subsequently there are a range of other subsequent initiatives which has kept this concerns and our worries about quality and quantity which is pertaining to education in India. I mean, it has been 2 decades, and I mean, I remember the NAAC, the first NAAC visits where I was still a student, and there was a lot of preparation, and then onwards, there are dramatic changes that was happening in the Indian education landscape. Now, we really don't know how to understand these changes that are occurring in Indian landscape, and what we have in our hand today is this extraordinary desire that where we wanted to go, there is this vague kind of desire that we have, and then we have burden of 200 years of British structures with us. Now, I'm not saying that their structures per se they're bad. They were very useful in European context because Europeans did extraordinary experiments with universities. But when they came to our soil, somehow they didn't really gel well with our soil. Because one of the examples that rightly Panchanatham sir was pointing out, what happens to the registrar and the vice chancellor in terms of putting up file, writing everything, whether you did it or not, Excel tick mark, whether you feel. I mean, there is some kind of a bureaucratization that has happened, which has taken over our very thinking of education. I remember my father was a school headmaster, and I studied under him. And those were the days where in our village we had Kannada medium school. There were 2 classrooms, and 1 to 7th. These classes were managed by 2 teachers. Now, there were grants that were allocated by government of Karnataka, and once in 8 years, once in 9 years, my father used to go to Belur from my village, and he used to bring some, spirit lamp and some test tubes. And these are the items where people like my father were courageous enough to say that students break the test tube, let them. I'm going to pay money from my pocket. But most of the other places where teachers were afraid because if you break the test tube, if the spirit lamp is not functioning during the inspection, now it will lead to memo by the inspector. Then it becomes AEO. Now, therefore, most of these, there used to be this old kind of trunks in all these schools where, there used to be nice, lock. And most of the students, till they come to some reasonable high schools, and many of the students, till they come to college, they had not even touched the test tube, or they would not have seen a spirit lamp really burning. So the moment you go to the 11th standard, in chemistry, we had to study the Bunsen flame. You have to draw, and then you have to see and distinguish between colors of the flame. And for them, that you could think about flame in this way itself was something very radical. And the kind of education that we had did not even allow us to get a feel of it. The point that I'm trying to make here is that there is some kind of a regimentalization that we have out of bureaucracy, because at the end of the day, whether you have filled your leave form like this, whether this was updated like this, whether it was completed on date or not, these things have become major preoccupation of the teacher. And as I see from the days where I was a student and I started looking at, I studied in both private and government institutions. So I was switching around. I also worked with most premier institutions in the country. I spent time in three major premier institutions in the country. I was with the Indian Institute of Science, I was with Wildlife Institute of India, I was with CCMB Hyderabad. And this is another extreme end of the world, where, nothing bothers you. You go and try out, experiment. At the end of the day, did you produce something was a question that was determining the performance of a student. And another place where you have everything regimentalized, a test tube was shown like this in the high school. This is called test tube. This is called burette. This is called pipette. And in many colleges, I remember in some of the remote taluk area, so psychology and journalism, etc., were becoming a very big, fancy thing to happen. So a lot of private institutions started to opening, and they had to do. So they used to have some very simple tests. For example, Raven's progressive color matrix. Now, this is something that you take this RCPM Go and play out with the school kids and see what percentile IQ you have to measure IQ, and use that and do that. And many schools in the Tehsil headquarters, now they used to show these cards, and they will write down the procedure of how to do this, but they never use this card. They never knew how to go and give this card and actually get the data. Or there used to be this games that psychologists, educators use, so must Q, for example. Now, how to use it? You don't have that feel. So you basically get disconnect. Now, this is what I am now telling you is not, don't think it's an exaggerated case. Though it might be a little less, but it is still a reality of the kind of education that we have. This is one part of what you say, if I have to be technical, the ontology of education. This is how education exists, right? There is another side that we are now talking about, the quality matrices. And we do a lot of NAAC accreditation. Now NEP has created much more. Now we are in a little bit of confusion saying, what is the role of NBA and NAAC? And will NAAC be like this? How many accrediting agencies will come in the future? What would be the nature of quality, etc., etc. A lot of these things are being debated. For example, is there an institutional level accreditation? Is there a program level accreditation? If there are different kinds of accreditation, how they are going to go? Is it necessary that we should go for all these kinds of accreditation? Is it possible that I will not go for one program accreditation, but I will go for another one? See, all these questions, nobody seems to be having an answer. I'm not saying these are good things or bad things. These are something that there is a particular direction within which education is moving. And the heart of it now, there is a push towards saying that we should move towards the liberal model of education. What does that liberal model of education constitute of? There are many things many people say. It is unclear what exactly the liberal model of education is, because for different people, it means different things. In practice also, it exists in different way. So the argument is being that, look, this summative assessment that we are used to, now we should get out of it. We should see what is the outcome of what we say. Therefore, you revise your courses in such a way that you define your course objectives. And these course objectives are converted into course outcomes. And you develop an evaluation system wherein you would want to see whether a student has acquired that outcome, the degree of the acquisition of a given outcome, is measured as an assessment. So therefore, what you should do formative assessment. Now, one of the very funny things about this kind of discussion is that all of us, including myself, though I have moved away from this way because of my own trajectory in other institutions, we are products of this summative assessment. So 3 hours examination writing. Now, the only the level of advancement that we went through in our lifetime is that there used to be only one exam per year and the supplementary exams. Now we have broken that 1 year into 2 exams. And the further refinement of these 2 exams in year is that you conduct this unit test. Right? But nonetheless, the story that we know is you give a question paper for which they have to answer. Now, this seemed to be a disastrous thing. Therefore, what did they say? Don't make them write that kind of a 3 hours question. We will move towards the MCQ and objective type of assessment. I mean, all these experiments have happened. Now, these experiments are extraordinarily crucial in deciding, because the NAAC committee comes, NAAC peer group comes, so you would have produced so much of documents, they would come and examine whether you're doing this or not. Now, this could not be handled in colleges and universities simply in that way. Therefore, you have to create another bureaucratic body called IQAC. Internal Quality Assurance Act has to be created, and this body is supposed to help people in order to maintain this data. I mean, this structure was believed that the moment you introduce such a kind of structure, it was anticipated that we are going to enhance the quality. Now, if you look at this whole discussion that we had about quality appraisal, now what is central about all this quality business that we have been talking about for last 2 decades now is the kind of procedural things that you're supposed to do. Now, so therefore we must conduct seminars, we must conduct workshop. So this workshop and seminar also have become rituals. Now, so along with this, so how do you measure quality was a question. See, I will tell you one of the difficulty. Take a decade back, my teacher became the director NAAC. Professor Ranganath was my teacher. He was my very close teacher. Even now we continue to have, he lives in Bangalore, we continue to, he was teacher professor in Mysore University. So his frustration is that by doing what kind of measurement, we could be able to assess that there is some kind of a movement of quality from position A to position B, which is an upward movement. There is an enhancement. So he was trying to, he was involved. I mean, so he was consulting with large number of people. These were early part of the evolution of NAAC. See, today's NAAC is very different from what Professor Ranganath's period or before that. Now, in this experiment, the attempt was saying that whatever teachers do in the classroom, whatever happens to the students out of whatever teachers do in the classroom, should be measured in terms of the shift in the quality, because there was a complaint about India's education system in general. The government, in a hurry to expand its educational infrastructure, they went on numbers, but they didn't really look at what is the nature of this number. What is the point simply saying that we have achieved 100% literacy when that literacy is not functional? Therefore, even if you look at the NEP document, you have chapters on functional literacy, functional numeracy. What is the point in knowing numbers without knowing how to use it in the world, in the real world? So therefore, these questions have been a terrific kind of concerns that have been there. Now, given this situation, if you actually look at it, there is one side there is extraordinary excitement, and one side it is equally pathetic and painful. Excitement in the sense that there is, to last 20 years, the amount of radical transformation that has happened in the way that we are bothered about quality is something that unheard of in last 1 century. We have never even thought about these things in the way in last just 20 years we have thought, discussed, frustrated, fought, every damn thing that we have done. In that sense, it's exciting because there is a terrific emphasis, and it is not just about one teacher or one university vice chancellor, but even those people who are uninterested are forced to participate in this process. Whether it is a IAS officer, whether it is a professor, or whether it is a peon in the university, whether somebody is interested, whether somebody is uninterested, none of them are given a choice. You have to be part of it. Even though you go out of it, this is all useless. But you are forced to come and participate in this discussion itself. I think is a historically unbelievable thing that has been achieved over last, irrespective of which political regime is in power. The whole process of bringing an attention towards quality is a very important thing. We should educate our children. We should educate in such a manner that it gives not just the livelihood, it actually gives them a bright life, a happy life, and a future for the country and the world. I mean, this is the kind of a larger perspective which has been part of the conversation of most uninterested stakeholder in the education sector. Seem to be a very, very radical transformation that one could see, which was otherwise in 90s was unthinkable. For example, in 90s. Now, Students were hardly at the center of the conversation of the education system. And we all did BSc, some of them did engineering, they came masters, MTech, and all kinds of things. Now, not that teachers were not interested in students. Of course, there were always good teachers who were committed for growth of students. I mean, in fact, people like me are made because of the teachers that we had. But for those teachers, probably I would not have been a very productive person in my life. I mean, unquestionably, those are around every place there are extraordinarily committed teachers. In fact, I would go take one radical step and say, you can't see those kind of teachers today. They were very deeply committed teachers, which is very hard to find such teachers today. They were so bothered, but as a structure, as a university, as college, the heart of the conversation was never student. In fact, mine were the days, student days, where I was very active in student politics. I was part of the election. I was contesting, and it was inevitable for me to be part of the student polity because otherwise you can't get it. Getting paper evaluation, paper C. We have shut the university for 2 months. I mean, I like such movements. I mean, in Mysore University, there was 1 month you shut down the university. It is not going to function because you genuinely had problems. But today, you bring such a problem, whether private or government, maximum 10 days they will solve these problems. I mean, these are not the issue. Now, for these silly reasons, we had to really shut the whole university. And that created another character. Students were divided across the ideological lines. We were not united community. You had to fight. I mean, you have to do a lot of things, and today that is not the case with the student. For example, very simple thing like having a functional toilet in the building where you study. In my days of college, I'm sure all of you would agree, was a very painful thing. But today you go and give a letter to don't even give a letter, bring it to the attention of a principal or a head of the department. Next day morning it will be fully functional. That is the top priority of the institution. For such a small thing, we have to go and shut down the college. I mean, only when you shut down the college, the management will get up or the vice chancellor, registrar, somebody will listen to you and then take some action. Even that action would take another month to address. In that sense, the tremendous transformation that has happened in the conversation on education is that students and their concerns and their worries have come to the heart of the institution, which was simply not there 20 years back. They were simply missing. And I don't think the kids of this generation would understand the difficulty of scarcity that we had. See, there was no internet when I was studying. Only when I was in masters, internet was accessible, but it was damn expensive. Per hour, you have to pay 25 rupees. And there were only few places in places like Mysore where you have to go and there are browsing centers. And they will have meter. Every 1 hour, 25. After the moment it crosses, another 25 gets added up. And we didn't have that money. It was not possible to afford such a money. Today, affording that money is not an issue for you. And also, your college will give you, I mean, every university will have access. Every university will give you, today, in that sense, there is a radically different kind of a landscape of education that is available. Yet, there is a concern about the quality. More and more, the kind of demand, the scarcity that we had have been addressed. We seem to be under terrific crisis of quality. Because if you look at the Vaidyanathan Committee report, or if you look at most of the report, FICCI report and many other reports which looks at the status of graduates. And I myself, for example, have been on the boards of various interview panels. And I had to interview and take students for various other positions, either in industry or in other projects. And it is extremely evident that the level of quality is pathetically low. Now, does that mean that the students are not of a good quality? Obviously, students are definitely the kind of kids that they are today are far ahead of me. I would not have thought the kind of conversations that they can build, the kind of skill sets that they possess, I didn't even have 1/10 of what they have today. Therefore, you can't say students are, not of great quality. Now, that is not an argument to really make. Are teachers not serious? You go and look at the records of the teachers. They're very busy. They don't have time. In my point, in the point in time where I was studying, teachers sometimes, it's like, even if you don't take classes, chalega. But today, no, even in government colleges, you can't run away like that. Because there is a very, sensitive, because anybody can go and complain, and there could be inquiries. So teachers are working, and yet, the kind of quality that is expected by the industry or the other non-governmental organizations or in the academic institutions, the kind of research output that is expected seem to be drastically low. So more and more NAAC and other NBA kind of accreditation mechanisms are increasing. More number of colleges are becoming the A double plus, etc. But there seems to be the concern of decline of quality not being attended. Therefore, one of the very important things that what we should do as both students and as teachers, take a break from this conversation for a moment. Now, I agree with all of you that it is important that all these policy documents and all this bureaucratic records extremely crucial. And as institution, if you want to survive, you want to have grants, you want to convince your management, your various other PR and other activity. Therefore, all this grading, ranking, all these kinds of participation is very important. But I think at a much more deeper level, what is an asset in an institution is that what kind of products that we are producing. So there are people who come, because all the kids who are coming here, they are like me. They come from small villages in and around, because Dharwad is not a Bangalore kind of a place. And they would dream of a life for them. This dream is not very specific, it's a vague kind of a idea, but they would hope for a future. The question would be, now what would be an ideal measure of quality? And if we can actually focus our attention to realizing the dreams of those people who would want to come and sit in my classroom, for instance, what we should do for that, if we can think a little bit, I think NAAC, NBA, NARF, all will fall in place. Because at the end of the day, if all these people could go to some level, how can NAAC not capture it? And if NAAC is not capturing it, there is something fundamentally wrong about it. And there is a reason why I'm making. Because all of you, faculty at least, have done NAAC preparation. Every 5 years, 1 year you spend in making NAAC preparation, right? And nobody has any time, anything other than building documents. And you all know how do you build your own documents. Therefore, there is all good reasons to be suspicious about the quality that get measured by the NAAC. Don't you think so? Let's be very honest in making this conversation. Because these are the documents that we built it. How did we build it? We know how. Because we are the creators of these documents. And 4 years we forget every damn thing. In the 5th year we will start running. How do we make it? It doesn't matter what criteria NAAC gives you. You have things to say. Right? Therefore, there is good reason for us. Same with NARF ranking. I've been part of some of these conversations. I've seen various institutions doing it. So, to say the metropolitan lingo, to use it, NAAC can be scammed. Okay, we all know that, right? NARF could be scammed. Now, if you look at the ranking, for example, sometimes it so happens that there are institutions, there are colleges which could get scored better than Indian Institute of Science. So that should speak something more about the quality that we are talking about. Now, therefore, in order to make it a little more serious, because we are committed to institution and the children, at the end of the day for a teacher, now what I am doing with my children, because the students who come to me are my children. They are part of my family. Their future is actually dependent on somebody like me, or maybe many people like me. Therefore, how do we think about it? Is something that institutionally let's think about it a little seriously. And if we can develop serious reflection on some of these ideas very seriously, because I am really perturbed and disturbed because I am a teacher. I have very recently taught undergraduate. I never taught. My experience with teaching even PG is very limited. I've always handled undergraduate people. I always taught what I did. I never had to teach somebody else's syllabus. I only have taught whatever I have been doing. I know what I have produced, and because I do that kind of teaching, I could draw many people, and they could produce their own material. I mean, for my teaching, for example, though every day for a teacher, like sir was pointing out, quality is a journey. There is no end point. Because the points that I wanted to reach as a teacher 5 years back, once the moment you reach there, you realize that there is so much to travel further. So, in that sense, in this journey, what should we bring to the heart of this conversation and quality that we are interested in? Because see, this conversation and quality that we are interested in is actually about building our future generation, building our kids who come to our colleges, hoping that I have a future. Now, as teachers, keeping aside NAAC and ARF, maybe tomorrow you will go to Shanghai ranking and all that you do, but there is much more fundamental about which we have not focused. And the reason that I am saying is this is not some kind of a romantic conversation that I am building, a very practical way that your research projects, your conversation in the staff room should get reorganized. Now, if you look at the contemporary structure of the conversations that we have teachers, for example, most often you're frustrated because you have to show so many things in a year. And you do it. You wanted to do it really well, but you're unable to do it because you don't have time. And circular comes yesterday, and day after tomorrow you have to complete. Now we are actually running this cycle. Therefore, our actual staff room is very unhealthy. Not that we wanted to keep it unhealthy, but we are under terrific pressure. And therefore, I can't come. I remember, for example, sometimes Professor Annath used to draw me into the conversation in this room when I was a student, and Professor Meva Singh was my teacher. So I used to spend a lot of time with Meva Singh, who was a psychology professor. And Meva, as usual, he will pick a cigarette and he will be sitting, a lot of people coming and talking to him when he was teaching. When he was doing all that he was doing, he used to draw us into the conversation. And in that conversation, what I had noticed is the teachers used to say, why is that student not responding? See, I did this class. This student, for some reason, is not getting. What should we do? Used to be the nature of conversation in the staff room. Right? You don't see that conversation today. A botany professor and an English teacher would be talking to each other about the X person and the Y person. Why is he not understanding? Is my English problem? Should we say, should I spend some time in talking to him in Kannada? I mean, these were the nature of the conversation that we have kept our staff rooms alive, which actually shaped the people like us. I mean, I'm sure all of you had similar kind of experience, and that used to be our staff room. And one of the most fundamental aspects of the quality concern, quality has to be measured not in terms of the research publications that you have, not in terms of the kind of events that you have conducted, but the first and foremost is what is the nature of the conversation that takes place in the staff room. And have you really given notice? Because if there are 5 faculty, I'm not sure how it is in KLE, in many institutions, I go and I'm very curious about what do these faculty do. So I spend time. If there are 5 faculty, there will be 8 groups. Right? And we have very good reason to have 8 groups with 5 people. Right? Why? Because we have all other concerns which are actually haunting us, than actually we have about 35 people, 40 people in front of me in my classroom. We are not actually bringing them as a central part of our conversation. In that sense, students have not become the heart of our conversation even today. In fact, their students have come to heart of this conversation some 20 years back, and now they have disappeared. Today, management talks about all my physical problems is attended to. I have gesture access, internet access, I have toilets functioning. Even in the remote Hobley headquarter colleges, you have all this high-tech infrastructure available. I mean, all that is available to me. Okay, online classes, special lectures, seminars, conferences, workshops, etc. But my problem as a student that I am unable to get something that you are saying is not actually coming to the staff room. There are no 2 teachers actually who are discussing about me. That's the first part of the problem. The second part, one of the most important things, though NDP talks about the idea of mentoring, etc. Now, what we have done, I have gone to multiple institutions and looked at mentoring is also sort of you have created. Okay, I will create a group of 5 students. This X faculty will do mentoring and counseling. Okay, and then that is also done. So 10:30 to 10:35 mentoring is this, and 10:45 to 10:55 this person is mentoring. So the mentee will come, will say, "Oh, what is your problem?" "I don't have any problems, sir. I am very fine." "So how is that? You're very nice, sir." Okay, fine. I have completed it, so I enter the mentoring leadership. Now, but the mentoring is not this. See, you must understand, as teachers, you will agree with me that large number of students, specifically at undergraduate level, some with postgraduate level, have terrific learning difficulties. They are not, less intelligent people. They're bright kids. Okay, some of them might have the superficial problems like English problem, for example, in Dharwad-like places. They would have difficulty in grappling with English. But the major problem that they will have is not about your subject. Most of the learning difficulty for a child comes not because of your academic learning, but something else. Now, for example, many kids, I spend a lot of time with the younger, a lot of undergraduate students come and spend time with me. They do intern. I more or less every year I will have a lot of students coming from economics, psychology, sociology, all kind of domains. They come and work with me when they are working. Their problems of why they are unable to learn, for example. Now they'll come, they're actually bothered, they're busy with, for example, there are boyfriend-girlfriend issues. No, I'm not joking. I'm pretty serious. Because a lot of their time is preoccupied. Now, or they wanted to see some movie and they don't have time. Now, these are the concerns about which we have no clue as teachers. And what you do, somebody is not performing in economics, what do you do? Remedial teaching. Take another 5 hour extra economics classes. Already it is not getting into head. And then you talk about theory of surplus value. I mean, it is frustrating to the extent that one day the boy would decide, I will not read economics in my life. I'm not joking. This is real. So the kind of students with whom I am actually interacting with, most of the learning deficiencies and difficulties that you encounter at an undergraduate and postgraduate level are actually about the academic disciplines that you're teaching. The difficulty of learning stays outside the academic domains. Now, what is the mechanism through which actually you intervene? When we were undergraduate students, we were extremely busy with various cultural, social, college election, to whole range of things, and there was an extraordinary peer interaction that used to happen between us. So it was not a problem that we would expect that teachers would address. So the seniors would actually take care of us. They would recognize. They will say, we used to have katte. Everywhere there will be katte. The very famous thing. There will be a small group. Some seniors will come, and they would actually. There is the peer intervention. But interestingly enough, some teachers used to very informally mentor this peer learning. Because there always used to be teacher who used to go. For example, in Mysore University when I was a student, now there is this popular place called Downs, which is a very famous place.
Jesse Downs.
Jesse Downs. So the Downs is a place where all of us used to go, and you must see at any given point in time there will be 2 or 3 professors sitting between the students. They will be sitting, they will be drinking tea, they will be cracking jokes with you, they will be doing all kinds of things. But mind you, in order to do so, now our syllabus and our structure of the course was such that we had a lot of time. There is so much that we could do that, in a day, 3-4 times I could easily walk from zoology department or psychology, walk down to Downs, spend half an hour, come back and start attending my classes, and then go to library. I have enough time. But look at your timetable. Now, in the timetable, now one of the most important part, which is very necessary for a child, is to have intervals. And all of you are busy in completing your syllabus. You have so many units. Now, so therefore the question of what is the outcome, when they say go for outcome-based education, etc., what you do is that you're so possessed with what is the information overload that you wanted to dump, you actually convert this formative assessment also into summative assessment. How? For example, how to conduct formative assessment for the children. So you should conduct quiz. You can conduct quiz. You can give assignments. You can make them do role play. You can make the focus group discussion. There are some 6 examples. What you do? Each of them you will convert. On 15th, I am going to conduct quiz. On 17th, I am going to have FGD. So you have this, and you start giving marks to that. But the whole idea of forming a child is not so much about everyone should conduct quiz. I mean, who said it? Everyone can decide what they wanted to, whether the child has learned or not, is the heart of the question. And if you want to do that, you decide. And what is the idea of formative assessment? It is not about giving numbers. If someone is not performing, it is not just the child's problem, it also indicates your pedagogy. It also is giving feedback to the teacher. Therefore, it is a kind of a reverse question to the teacher. What should I do in such a way that I actually make the last person in the classroom really learn? Some X person, 3 persons have failed, meaning teachers have also failed. Now, the whole purpose of formative assessment is what? Okay, yesterday he couldn't do. What kind of activity do I formulate in such a way that this guy actually comes out? What is the problem through which actually I can bring up? Therefore, when you have to give technically, what is expected is some kind of an assessment of whether he has learned or not. But it is not because in any document you have 6 or 7 examples, so you convert that and fix date, announce it. I mean, if you do that, it is not formative at all. Because it doesn't tell you any forming of an individual, but rather it tells you that you are finishing your ritual. Okay. Now it becomes, that's why in your staff room conversation, what you would be talking is that, oh, this NEP is such a pain. Earlier, once in 6 months, semester itself was resisted. Once in 6 months in a 2-3 unit test, and then one exam, it was over. And this formative assessment, there's so many things I have to do. One day quiz, one day assignment, I have to read all this 50 assignment. I mean, you run into this way. So therefore, what has happened is that the tail of a dog determine what dog should do. Instead of dog determining when should the tail should be wagged. Now, it is not that NEP document has asked you to do it. The way you have converted it, because there is an extraordinary freedom that you have in terms of how to look at the linkages between the teaching and the learning. Now, sir was pointing out, for example, if you want to teach, his own talk was an example of bringing whole range of things, bring stories, anecdotes. And now what has happened in any NEP seminar you go, this also has become ritual. That you should use different pedagogy. Why should you? If you are comfortable, there are teachers, for example, very drab and dull, but the way they write on board is so impressive, and they should only do that because that's the best way for him. And some other teacher can be versatile. They can play around. I mean, for example, if in a classroom, if you ask me to use PowerPoint and teach, I'm pathetic. I can't do. I can give a seminar talk using a PowerPoint presentation. I need, board. I wanted to know whether my students can see it. And you look at the classroom, for instance. If I have a classroom which is fixed, I find it very uncomfortable to teach. I want, students to sort of roll around and I want to move around. But there are some people who want this desks fixed, and different teachers have different kind of requirements. I'm not saying institutions should create all that. I'm not recommending another, kind of a infrastructural modification. But I'm saying, if you really are interested in teaching, how to look at some of these concerns that have been raised about quality is actually to look by putting student into the heart of this problem, that why if someone is at, but the whole idea of formative assessment is to know whether he has learned. How do you know whether he has learned? Look at how do we write core subjects, graduate attributes. Now, think of, you don't answer me, but think and answer it to yourself. If you look at the outcomes, course outcomes, do you think that they're really measurable? I've traveled throughout the country. Everybody meticulously produces these documents, pages over pages. So you have this course objective, program objective, and then you have mapping. And you have softwares like Calpol, Canvas, I mean, a whole range of other things. And then you do mapping every damn thing you do. But ask as a teacher for yourself that if you have them as your course objectives, at any given point in time, use whatever method you think that you can use. Can you ever at all measure that kind of an outcome in a child? Now, how do we prepare these documents? Because, okay, this is KLE Women's College. There is nearby there is an intelligent person who has made format. So first thing I will look at is a format. Okay, and then so I will ask, okay, credit matrix, course matrix, credit structure. So my business is, see, I am used to number of hours of teaching. Okay, number of hours. Okay, now credit matrix has come. The first thing that I will do, I will convert the credit into hours. Okay, and once I convert, I will write down all the syllabus. Whatever was there yesterday is also there. The only difference that I will do is I have actually broken it into pieces. 25% here, 25% in the second semester, 25% third semester, 25% fourth semester. So yesterday this module was in development economics. Tomorrow it is going to be in macroeconomics. Now this is the kind of rush within which we are interested in looking at it. Then actually say, in what way of organizing this course would my children get something about? Why should the course be uniform? In fact, one of the very important aspirations of national education policy is to say that be as diverse as possible, because you have different situations, different contexts, different socioeconomic background, different linguistic concerns, different educational status of the students who come to your school. You decide what you want to do. Oh, first semester, computer science, data structure I have to bring. Why should you? Teach it in fourth semester. Who stops you? Now, see, now what we have done is, for the course that I am actually trying to think about, my BOS had to work for me. I should not be working for BOS. Now, BOS is there, if at all anything, they can ask you, why did you organize course like this? Can you justify? Give good reasons. Have you ever found any BOS asking you such questions? So therefore, we need to rethink, because all that we are doing is to actually fit in our plans into something which somebody is giving. But my worry is, I am not saying you should not do that. All of us must do. Even though I come from a private university is bound by certain law. There is certain statutory requirement. We have to do all that. After 4 years, now we are a new university. After 4 years, we have to go to NAAC. I mean, something that is inevitable, because this is how the cycle is. Until and unless somebody, after some years, if I am part of the education policy, I would certainly break it. You know, one day we should be raising this question. How, you know, would this quality measurement really measures quality or what? Now, there are a lot of other hopes that we have around these kind of ideas. We need to think, but coming back to this question, there is a very important triad that we have broken in our university education. There is this teaching and learning. And this teaching and learning is associated with thinking. Now, a proper synergy between the learning and teaching process in a classroom leads to a reasonable thinking. Now, what we have to produce is this reasonable thinking human being. Now, if you look at the way university was founded, I'm not sure how many of you know the history of university. When the way in Europe it came in. See, in Europe, there is at least about 900 years history of the university education. But the major, I mean, there was a completely Christian context within which the European universities came into being. There was a deeper involvement of the Vatican to start the whole structure like university. It is associated with formation of what we call modern state. You know, the early stages of the modern state formation. But when universities in Europe, when they really was growing, for example, we imitate something called Humboldtian model of university. Now, Humboldt, when he was conceptualizing the German university, German had this idea that there has to be thinking people. There are different kinds of citizenry that they were conceptualizing. So there was this notion of Bildung Buga, the educated citizenry, versus the ordinary people. So therefore, the universities was thought to be the place where there is cultivation of self. So there is cultivation of humanity. People could think. People could reasonably, think about things that happens in the world. So they have a general perspective about the world. They view the whole world with a larger perspective, and also for technically speaking, they go and specialize in something, etc. But every time when they actually go into more specialized, of course, one has to specialize, but there is a general perspective. I mean, you wouldn't believe the structures of the university. In the early 19th century, the physics was taught as part of the arts program. It was not a science program. So there was a completely different kind of a growth of the institution like university where there is a particular idea of human being. Now, whether it is useful to India or not is a different question. But come back and think about it that we want to produce reasonable human beings in this country who care for their family, who care for themselves, who become competent, who also are helpful to the whole society. Because even if you take the goal of being happy in this world, if an individual had to be happy, the way Indians formulate this problem is a slightly different way in our tradition. Now, one of the ways that they formulate this problem is of this kind. Now, if you want to be happy, you need certain conditions to be happy in the world. Now, if those conditions are not favorable, you can't be really happy. Therefore, in order to be happy, though it is an individual desire, it is a responsibility of individual to engage in this activity of creating these conditions under which one could be happy. Now, how do we create such conditions under which one could be happy? You need to engage. That's why you have whole range of runa, Deva runa, Pitra runa, Panchamaha runa. I mean, all these kinds of ideas that you possess and you build. And if you want to do that, there is some very important thing that has to happen is that one should know. He should seek and he should know. And a knower, whomever wants to know, in Indian tradition, for example, there is no distinction between the happiness and knowledge. In fact, one of the most significant formulation is that you can't be happy without having knowledge. Therefore, the moment you talk about Ananda and Gnana cannot be separated in our tradition. Whichever tradition you take in India, starting from Tamil traditions to Sanskrit tradition to any other traditions that you go. So therefore, this idea of knowing leading to happiness, or knowing and happiness coexisting together, if that has to happen, now one of the most important part is that our staff rooms must change, our classrooms must change, and the kind of conversations that we do amongst the faculty must change. And with whom we build relationship, what are the network, how do we bring in, for example, most of the institution. Now, if you want to bring in one of the best, for example, one of the place that I was suggesting, the famous violinist N. Subramanian, you must have heard. He's a very world famous, top class violinist, and I wanted to take him to a place. And the whole idea was he spent a couple of hours with children, undergraduate students. And the problem with that institution was they didn't have break in their timetable. And somebody like N. Subramanian wanted to have a conversation, and your syllabus doesn't permit you. And you were so bogged up. And we had all the time to think, go. I mean, see, period after period. I mean, they should listen. See, there is this Manana. You should give them some time to think, assimilate. So if you read scholars like Oksha, philosophers like Oksha, for example, when he conceptualizes the vision of liberal learning, for instance, how does it appear to have a good learning? One of the central, I mean, any number of educationists would say central aspect of learning is having intervals of different kinds. Now, we have not paid our attention towards some of these fundamental aspects, which is so crucial for learning and teaching. And until and unless we set this learning-teaching relationship right, there is no point in filling any number of matrices that we have on quality. And quality is something that, by reading nature, reading science, you won't come. All that we have to learn doing. So to give you an example before closing, I will give you an example of how pathetic we are in thinking about our own traditions and how it gets reflected in any number of things. See, if you look at all last 75 years of education policy documents for 75 years, see, one of the most important point that emerges as a central thing in the teaching learning environment is this elimination of rote learning. Authority Commission to NEP 2020, everybody talks about you should eliminate rote learning. Now, I have a student, doctoral student, who works on historical sociology of education. Now, I asked him to find out, because I asked many teachers, because there is a policy mandate and it has to get translated in universities and the diets, DSCRT and all these places, that it should get converted into something which is practical. The teachers must know, because a policy cannot eliminate rote learning. If the rote learning has to be eliminated, it has to be by teachers, right? Now, what do teachers understand? And he went on investigating. The results were very puzzling. And he went on further to look at how people talk about rote learning in the world. And the story is of this kind. The way most teachers in India understand what rote learning constitutes is that you should not memorize. Right? Memorization is enemy of learning. Right? Now, if you look at Indian traditions for 2000, 3000 years, our languages, our technologies that we have developed, everything was part of our oral tradition. We are one country, one civilization. We were determined. We also had literal traditions. Not that we didn't try. But most of our learning happened through memorization, even today. I mean, look at a large number of performances. Bharatanatyam, a classical musician, how many people do you think that they would write the kirtanas in their notebook? They simply know. They sing. This is the tradition. And how could memorization be enemy of learning? You can only say that memorization may not be sufficient. Now, one of the things when we went and many people said, no, this is not about memorization. This is about mechanical learning. They said. So we're puzzled, what is this thing called mechanical learning? See, only thing that I can understand, all of us have by hearted, right? Ratmarna. So that is what we know. Even I have done that. Okay, nothing stopped me in doing that. In fact, I have been quite successful because it's very helpful. I have not forgotten any damn thing. I do remember everything that I have learned. I mean, there were points in time when I shifted from Kannada medium to English medium. The best source for me was just to mug it up fully. We didn't leave even mathematics for that matter. But that's very helpful now. Because any time I wanted to remember anything, it is there in my hand. I can just simply retrieve it. I don't need to search anywhere. But how could this be a problem? So he went on and found out that all those academic conversations which are there, which actually says that rote learning is a bad thing, they are actually pointing to memorization as a learning strategy. And this has become a big research agenda in Hong Kong, Singapore, and America, where you have a lot of South Asian students who go and study. There it becomes a problem. In fact, there are many institutions where they wanted to have higher level of scores for Southeast Asian students than the European students, because these guys simply crack it. Like this pen bee competition in the United States. And most of the Asians, crack it. But this is something that we do pretty well. But our policy documents say this is something disastrous to us. In fact, there are policy documents which uses this word, rote learning has to be eradicated. So I got into the conversation with policy document writers, and they said, no, we are not against memorization, but rote learning. What is left if you remove memorization in this rote learning? So we did a bigger review of last 25 years of research, and we found that rote learning could not be anything other than memorization. And you can't distinguish between the mechanical versus non-mechanical. Now, the only problem that we have is this memorization to be transformed into a serious kind of learning. Your assessment strategies have to change. Right? Instead of focusing on what is the right kind of assessment, to make use of this asset that we culturally carry, which comes like that to us, we don't really say that, you really work on, because assessment has to change. You have to, all your teachers have to be reoriented. Assessment, you see, it's a lot of work. The best thing is eradicate. And there is a bigger reason why. I mean, I'm not going to that story of the part. So therefore, this is the way in which we actually talk about ourselves. I can go on giving you example of our crisis of teaching learning and the kind of myths, stereotypes that we carry about our own populace with which we are dealing. I mean, some of the, we are going to start some program in psychology very soon. Some of the work that psychologists have done on Indian population, with due respect to psychology, there is a terrific problem in the way they have formulated the problem. So, one of the very important things that we must recognize that when we are dealing with education, when we are looking at the future of the children who are looking at a life, a better life, a happy life, what we have to bring to the heart of our classroom, heart of our staff room, heart of our campus life is this deeper linkages between the teaching and learning. And the way that we are trying to do is going exactly opposite of what we are supposed to be doing. So my suggestion and my humble request to the KLE group of institutions would be that we should be focusing our energy on this strategy, because KLE is a committed institution where management likes this kind of experimentation, that if you want to, the opportunity is there. See, if you start actually focusing on this, see the NAAC, NRA, they will all fall in place. We will all do whatever is required for that. The numbers will come. If you produce really quality people, if NAAC is getting, we will go and tell NAAC that you're wrong. I mean, see, the point is, it is not the NAAC certificate that I'm interested in. Oh, NAAC certificate is important because there are other grants and other incentives that are associated with that. But I'm really interested in quality. Long term, say, because earlier there was no NAAC. Tomorrow NAAC will not be there, something else will come. I will tell you NAAC will not be there. NAAC will be overseeing body. Right? So therefore, for some body or some kind of ranking which has come 20 years back, you can't mortgage your education for those things. Now what has to be is commitment from teacher's side to fulfill these dreams and the desires that people like me from a very small village carry, and come with this great hope that I have a future and I should not be disappointed. I mean, this is the only minimal expectation that a child like me who went to bigger cities, which is something that was not thinkable in my village. When I went there, the hope, I was searching for a hope. And the question as teachers, as institutions, are we killing this hope? And if at all we wanted to do, now we need to rethink about this relationship between the teaching and the learning. And what are we doing with it? And if we don't take it very seriously, I'm not sure whether NAAC and that might help you, institution branding, big posters we can put, we can boast all that places, everything, maybe global 50 university ranking will come, but what did we do with our children? Is a question, is something that we have not been able to address. In fact, one of the design and the challenge that the NEP document actually throws in front of us is to engage in this kind of problem. So, one of the most difficult tasks for teachers is this: how can you make your staff room one? Today, your staff room are not one. I mean, you might say we are all one, etc., but you are not actually. I am part of the same fraternity. I know what happens, the dynamics happens that between the teachers. Now, this is something that we have to do consciously. And I think my humble submission and request from all of you is to give a thought about it. And the reason why I am trying to share this with you is of this kind. See, one of the gurus in the Advaita tradition, in Sanskrit tradition, has a book. He was the student of Shankaracharya. He was senior, elder than Shankara. His name was Mandana Mishra earlier and later became Sureshwaracharya. And in his book, Naishkarmya Siddhi, when he was writing, he writes a book and gives an introduction. In that introductory part, he says, why am I writing this book? And he goes on to say 2 lines, which are very powerful. And that would sort of explain you what I am trying to do with you. So he says, why am I writing this book? Question. So he is not writing this book. Na labha kirti pujartam grantosmabhirudhiryate. I am not writing this book for labha, kirti or puja. Then why am I writing such a book? The question would be, the answer to such a question would be, swabodha parishuddhyartham. Whatever I am speaking, swabodha, whatever I am speaking, parishuddhyartham, in order to purify. What is that I am doing? ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿನ್ನಿಕ ಶಾಶ್ವಸು. There are learned people. What will they do? ಹೇಗೆ ಅಕ್ಕಸಾಲಿಗ ಚಿನ್ನವನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಇದು ಚಿನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೋ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ I am going to put myself into the test. So the kind of test that I wanted to do with you, the reason why I traveled here and come, specifically with the teacher, is that as teachers, we have to take teaching and learning and its relationship with thinking very seriously. Which demands too much of our own involvement about the future of a child. And there is a road that I am trying to take over 1 decade, trying to be a good teacher in my life, which is a very difficult job to me. Now, I don't think I am a good teacher, but I intend to be so at some point in time. Now, in order to do so, we need to bring that together. Now, when we are trying to do that, what comes and what are the difficulties is what I have told. And it may not be reasonable, and this is what we should talk. And if you, by building this conversation, what happens to me personally is Swabodha Parishuddhyartha. So whatever I am saying will get purified, and I will be able to communicate it appropriately and really test whether I have understood it reasonably well or not. And this is the point that I wanted to do. With that, I have already exceeded my time slot, so I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we will be having the interaction session. I request all the delegates and students, if you have any queries, you can interact now. The interaction session will be about 5 to 10 minutes.
If you have any queries, so please feel free to ask.
Sir, good afternoon. Myself Srinivas. Very enlightening speech from your end, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, especially the point like setting the program objectives and mapping it to the course outcomes and all those things. So definitely, as you pointed out, even we also find it difficult because we are evaluating around 300 plus students and evaluating each and every attribute, the competency matrix or the performance indicators, and mapping it to program outcomes, we find it very difficult. So could you please enlighten on like how best we can really measure those outcomes? And the program outcomes are fixed as per the NBA. All the program outcomes are fixed for the technical education. So how really we can beyond our rubrics, evaluation matrix and rubrics, how really we can assess quantum of students, something like 300 plus kind of students?
See, there are, I mean, whatever I say now will become a theoretical answer. But we can actually make it very practical, but I will suggest the possibilities that how I see. 300 is not an issue. I mean, I do understand because some of the open elective courses and some of the language courses, for instance, will become terrifically complicated because large number of people are there, right? But if you want to really assess them, to give you an example, now group participation, and in fact, if you use the peer evaluation, if you use, for example, different groups in the class engaging in the evaluation practices, nothing stops you. You break them into groups. I mean, they themselves would do the evaluation. You sit and actually examine it. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, this is something my favorite issue that we have tried it out in different places, and it is absolutely possible. But what the smart, see, you have to make a smart move. Now, see, there is nothing that we can do about the graduate attributes, and there is nothing that we can do about the program outcomes, because somebody would write, right? But you should actually rationalize your course outcome, because that is something is in your hand, right? Now, there you can be smart in the sense that how do you fit that into program objective? I mean, if you can fit whatever you assess now into something which is not accessible, you can certainly make it more accessible and fit that into program. See, this is matter of doing a little bit of manipulation here and there. But the question is the course outcome, can we be explicit? And how do we break that? For example, what are the cognitive, what are the social, what are the psychological attributes that you are interested in? For example, I'm teaching chemistry, organic chemistry. Now, I can actually have hierarchy in terms of what psychological attribute in psychology in chemistry course that I would want to have. I may not have much, but somebody else and some other course might have it. As pooled program outcome, it would get cumulatively reflected. You can play around with all that. And nothing stops you. And one of the very important point is, one of the deficiencies that we have in the existing structure of the NEP feedback is that we must say that this is useless. Program objectives are useless. These graduate attributes are not measurable. Who has said this to which agency? We must say that. And you give good reasons. Why should it not be your research publication, you tell me? We keep finding all kind of nonsense to publish papers because you're forced. But this is something is right in front of you. You say, look, this program, for example, take this very simple issue of mapping program objective to course objective. It's a pain, right? Now, why don't you make it into, 4 or 5 of you sit and say why it is not possible. And in the existing way, in whatever software that you use, you do it, basically you are lying. And you make it into your research papers. No, why not? And this feedback, in the absence of this feedback, it appears as though all these graduate attributes are well thought in their gear. They're not well thought. Why should they be? They might be very good for IITs. In my place, no, they don't work. What you said is very honest in reality, but start playing around with the course outcome which is in your hand, which you can define. And also demonstrate that this way of formulating outcomes is not useful. I would, for example, if you do that, I would like to come back to KLA and I will give my 1 week time. Please do write about it. We should demonstrate it. It is very important because these institutions which make policy do not know that it is not going to work because some professor in IIT would have written that. Right? It might work there, but it doesn't work in my place. In KLE undergraduate program, how do you do that? Not possible. That's why I said, ask yourself honestly, is it possible? No, not possible. And let's continue to do it because it is asked by some agency to do it. But let's be extremely critical of saying, no, it is not, it is useless, it's futile. Let's say that. And I think nobody is going to say anything to you if you say that. Until and unless they say your data is fake. But as long as you have the real data, which is the case for you, that is your experience in your class, please bring that to the foreground. In fact, that should become your research. We keep searching for all kind of nonsense, tiny topics, some journal. Let's bring this to the heart. I don't have that sample size. KLE College, you have huge sample size to think about. I don't teach that much, to be very honest with you. But you guys are teaching every week. You spend 15 hours of teaching, and you have terrific things to say. So please convert that. You have resources. There are people. There are psychologists. There are education. You can develop all that matrix. Show this rubrics is useless. You can't do the COPO mapping. It's not possible. We all do that. There is some drama that we do that COPO mapping is happening. No, it doesn't happen. It never happens. So let's make it concrete.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Just I would like to add that as our NEP is just trying to find out linear or non-linear correlation between two things, sir. But there are so many other intervention factors are influencing, intervening factors, sir, where you can actually, which cannot be measured certain times and which cannot be controlled also. This is like you are criticizing mango for not being grapes. As simple as that. So as you have been pointing out, each subject or each institution taking into consideration the area or the background, psychological and socioeconomic background of the students, we need to fix what can be the learning outcome and what have to be taught. Who says that everybody should be knowing artificial intelligence? Who says that we have to measure colored progressive matrices in terms of it? Because in Japan it has found that all are having, if your IQ level is above 110 or 120, that they are genius. But the method of measuring itself, evaluation, somewhere we are going wrong. That's what I feel. But discussions like this can really lead to some outcome, a fruitful outcome, so that we can be able to contribute to this particular new education policy. That's what. Thank you.
Yeah, I have only 2-line comments on this, which is very important. It is saying that You can't make grapes into mangoes and mangoes into grapes, and you should not. Why should you? Right? I mean, therefore, if you want to do that, one of the simple things that NEP tells you, NEP has not said that by 2023 December you finish implementation of NEP. In fact, NEP wants you to take enough time, and by 2035 they wanted to see the realization of the whole education policy. So therefore, I mean, I don't know why these institutions are rushing in such a fast rate. They are saying that by 2035 we wanted to see this is a possibility because you can't shift to NEP overnight. The first part. And second, all these measurement rubrics, everything, nobody is coming up and saying that this is wrong. This doesn't work. This is not the way it has to be done. And nobody is telling people what is the alternative way of doing. Everybody is going, this is not practical. I mean, it is very easy to say this is not practical, but he is saying bring it to the foreground, no? And only these kind of institutions who are interested in teaching and about children actually should throw out bundles, heaps and heaps of data. What happens if you try using this COPO in psychology or in physics or in chemistry, and you actually show how it is degenerating from the earlier version than what it is, and it is indeed degenerating. You go and ask any teacher, they would know it is absolutely degeneration of what they could have done earlier to this. So we should be able to show. In fact, one of the very important aspiration of NEP is that such a conversation will come back to the foreground. So it is our part that we have to, because this is not something extra that you can do. This is something is in your hands. This is your cup of tea. And in terms of tangible and intangible outcomes, I mean, that's also a question that we must take up. How do you deal with intangible? In fact, the sir was from morning pointing out when the question of binary came, it is the qualitative measure. Now, in case of qualitative measurement, qualitative analysis, you are not going to go with numbers, right? Then your Excel matrix doesn't work, this rubrics doesn't work, then what should it be? How should it look like? Now, we need to figure that out. And I mean, people like you who have experience, who have thought about it, should actually contribute and say, this is how it should look like. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Rightly said by Herbert Spencer that the great aim of education is not knowledge but action. Thank you, sir, for a beneficial session and shedding light on the issues of learning, teaching, and thinking in higher education. Thank you, sir. And now I request Sherwad Madam to felicitate the sir with memento.
Thank you, sir. Dear delegate friends and my dear students, now lunch is there, arranged which is there in the cafeteria. Please have a lunch and come back by exactly 2 o'clock or 2:10 maximum. And we have another session, we will complete it very soon. So please come back by 2:10 exactly. Please, I request everyone to go and have a lunch. All the students and the delegates, please come back soon.
All are requested to be at 2:10 sharp. The technical session 2 will go on 2:15. So try to be.